Are you tired of that motivation yo-yo? Like the up and down, fluctuating feelings of some days I'm motivated and other days I'm not? Well, what if you could replace the fluctuating feelings of motivation with a system-driven approach to taking action so that you can have the life of your dreams? Let's grow. You have likely had that experience of really being motivated, really being charged up, pumped up to get things done, and it lasts for like a day. And then it was weeks, maybe months before you were that motivated again. It's like, man, if you could maintain it, if I could maintain that level of motivation for a longer period of time, then a lot more would be accomplished. But here's what I've come to know: is like as a strategy, as a life tactic, motivation is just simply not dependable. And oftentimes I see people, and I have done so myself, fall into the trap of looking for that next bit of, motivation, that next bit of inspiration. And particularly when it leads me outside of myself, it's like, okay, what else can I go listen to? What else can I go read? It's like, being in the gym and you need the music to get you pumped up and going. Like motivation as a strategy for really high accomplishment and big time achievement, it's not dependable. It's way too fickle. Okay. And so I want to just kind of blow up that myth of depending on motivation. Okay, because it is exactly that. It is a myth, and it is not dependable for you as a life strategy in order to get things done. One of the things that we know to be true about motivation is its fickleness, because it fluctuates based on emotions, circumstances, energy levels. It's not always present when you need it. And it can also just like vanish unexpectedly. It's like, what happened? One phone call, one email, one text message could absolutely derail you. And your goals and dreams are way too big to have, your strategy, if it's motivation, right? Your goals and dreams are way too big to have it be that fickle, or have it depend on something that is that fickle. Okay. It's often also delayed, right? Like waiting for motivation to take hold of us, right? Waiting for some motivation to actually go do tasks can lead to a lot of procrastination, right? If you're only doing things when you feel like doing them, if you only do it when you feel like really motivated and charged up to go do it, then like things go incomplete or not even addressed at all. It definitely can lead to procrastination and just simply not getting things done. Another thing about motivation, the reason why I don't like it as a life strategy is that it relies way too much, or focuses way too much on feelings, way too much on feelings, right? It's like it prioritizes short-term emotional satisfaction over the long-term goal. As I was just stating, it's like, if you're only going to be in action on days when you feel like it, then be content with a pretty mediocre life, and for sure a life that is less than what you're capable of, because it's not about what you do when you feel like it. In fact, more can be determined and more can be said of an individual based on what they get done on days when they don't feel like it. All right. So the reason why I'm saying we're not going to rely, or I would encourage you not to rely on motivation, is because one, it's fickle. Two, it's like delayed. Okay. It's not always there when you need it. It focuses way too much on feelings. It's also, it can be misdirected. Like you can actually have motivation and it channel you towards unproductive or even harmful activities, because those things seem more fun in the moment. It's like, this is more exciting. Perhaps, it involves, more, it's more social, you know what I mean? So it's like, you don't feel like, reading the book or working on your business or working on your email or working on your ad campaign, but a friend calls and says, let's go, watch the game, or let's go, in my case, let's go have a cigar. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm motivated to go do it. So my point is, like, the reason why it was like, okay, we're not going to rely on motivation only. We're not going to rely on motivation to get things done, is because it can often be misdirected. It's also externally driven, right? There's a difference between being inspired and having to be motivated. Okay, so when I'm inspired, when you're inspired, then that's coming from within, and motivation, as I mentioned earlier, right, is you're going external. I'm going external. I'm looking outside of myself to get me in the mood, to get me in the place that I need to be in order to be productive and to get things done. So when you're relying on an external reward or some external validation, then that's always got to be present in order for you to do the thing required for you to have the life that you want. And then also, when it comes to motivation, it overlooks discipline, right? In the final analysis, the reason why you don't want to only depend on motivation is because motivation as the strategy overlooks what's actually required, and that's the discipline. The discipline to do it even when you don't feel like it. To go out and do the thing that you said you would long after the energy to do it has left you. Okay? So it's a reliance more on discipline is a key factor in you experiencing the success that you want. All right. So rather than look to places for motivation, right, we want to wake up that internal drive or what inspires you, and then go for what it is that you want because you want it. And so there are some pretty effective ways to replace a reliance on motivation. Okay. So if you're a person who finds yourself always having to like be motivated to get it done, so a couple of things that you can do just really quickly, a couple of things that you can do to replace that reliance on motivation. Number one is replace it with or develop habits that are more in alignment with what you want to create. Create, routines and rituals that really automate the positive behavior that you want to have. So that's one thing that you can do is develop rituals or routines that replace this reliance on motivation. It's like, okay, and then have the discipline to move through your ritual or routine, even on days when you don't feel like it. Okay. Another thing is to set some clear goals, right? One of the reasons why motivation is also very fickle is because oftentimes we're not clear about what it is that we want. So we're really motivated for a day, and then that motivation leaves for a couple of weeks, and we're saying no. But when you're clear about what you want, when you're clear about where you're headed, when you're clear about what you truly desire to create, then that picture, that vision in mind will propel, if not compel you to continue to take the actions that are necessary until that void, nature abhors a vacuum. So until that void is filled with the manifestation of that which you desire. Another big, so develop habits. Also, it is about being able to set clear goals. Another big thing to do is celebrate your small wins. I am with highly successful people all the time, and I tell you, the lack of understanding about how celebration and acknowledgement of victories, of wins, is so important. The acknowledgement and celebration is a very important part of the achievement cycle. And so get into the habit of celebrating when you win. Celebrate when you win. It'll keep you inspired, and it also feeds or fuels the commitment necessary in order to reach what it is that you want. And then finally, or two more. One, find some accountability, be it a mentor, a coach, a mastermind group. You want to be in an environment and surround yourself. I know we got a lot of lone wolf entrepreneurs out there, okay? But you want to surround yourself with people who are also going after big things, big goals, big dreams. Surround yourself with people that you respect. Let them know what you're going to create. Let them know what you're going to do. And have them be the type of people who will check in, who will ask you, how's it going? And if you respect them, you'll likely want to have a good report. So have some accountability. And then also, lastly, focus on systems. Systems over a reliance on motivation. Okay. Discipline, commitment is a life system. What time do you wake up? What are the first things that you do? Do you have your Renaissance time, your time for self-reflection, for motivation, for for meditation, for prayer, to review your goals, to look at your day, to visualize the day and the outcomes that you want, physical exertion and exercise, hydration, before you even begin to engage with a client? Have you done those things to truly care for yourself? That's what, to me, that's what self-care is about. Is I honor myself enough to give me the time required to ready for my day and for those whom I serve. Okay, so we're at, so moving forward, we're not going to just be out looking for and searching for motivation. It's way too fickle, right? It's unpredictable. It can lead you in directions that you don't want to go. Focuses way too much on feelings, and it overlooks the requirement of discipline. Replace it with a clear vision, clear goals, systems, routines, rituals. If you'll do that, I believe that you'll find yourself getting more done, and you'll develop the confidence that is the result of action, particularly that type of action that you take when you didn't feel like it. That's when you're winning. When you can override your momentary emotion for what you committed to getting done. I hope that helps. And if it does, then don't keep it a secret. Let someone know that this podcast does exist. And I invite you to be a part of the growing family of people that I get to serve and support. And one of the ways that you can do that is to join my email list. And I would encourage you. I know it's something else that you got to do, or maybe you're listening to this. And no, if you're driving, don't do it. But, I get it. Of all the things you got to do, you got to remember this other thing. Well, remember to do this, okay? And if you're in a position, my encouragement is that you do it right now. And that is join my email list. That way I can communicate with you directly without having it be dependent on platforms, okay? So if you would, just go to courtlandwarren.com/opt-in, OPTIN. Real simple, and that'll get you on the email list. I would really, really appreciate that, all right? So courtlandwarren.com/opt-in, OPTIN, and that'll get you on the email list, all right? So with that, thank you so much for your attention. And again, if you got value from it, then let me know. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is, and how you're going to put it into action in your life. We'll see you next time.